Hello, my name's Todd Mount. I'm Vice Chair. Thank you, Michelle. That was great. Really appreciate your remarks. It's my honor and privilege and a real pleasure to introduce our speaker today, President E. Gordon Gee of West Virginia University. Most of you know who he is, so I'm not going to go on very long, but I do want to just point out a few things. He's originally from Utah. He graduated from the University of Utah with an honors degree in history. He went from there to Columbia University, where he got both a JD and a doctorate in education. He went from there to work for the U.S. Court of Appeals, the 10th Circuit, and from there to work for the United States Supreme Court. Then he came back to Utah, where he became a professor and an assistant dean at the law school at Brigham Young, at which point he decided that academics might be a fit, and he came to an even greater place, West Virginia University, at the School of Law there, the College of Law. One of the smartest people that I've ever met was a student there at the time when Dr. Gee, President Gee, Dean Gee, was at the School of Law, and this person said to me, Gordon Gee may be one of the smartest people I've ever met, and that's before I got to meet you. So that meant a lot to me and said a lot to me. From there, within a very short period of time, he went from being dean of the law school to president of West Virginia University, and now has served as president of 5 major United States universities. West Virginia University, not once, but twice. Brown University, Colorado University, Vanderbilt University, and The Ohio State University, not once, but twice. When Dr. Gee came back to West Virginia, it was a true blessing for us, a true shot in the arm for our university, for our state. And we were tickled to have him back, and for good reason, as he has shown, and the results that he's already had since he's been here. So just a couple other things. In addition to his duties as president of these major universities, these great institutions, these complicated administrative beasts to get a hold of, during that time, he did a few other things. I lost count of the educational boards that he was on in the high 70s. He's been involved in so many other boards and memberships of organizations as diverse as the board of Abercrombie & Fitch, to the board of national energy companies, to the boards of economic development companies, to being on the board of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So this is a person not only of great intelligence, not only of great dedication, but a man of great experience and of great wit. And we're tickled to have him here today. Thank you very much for coming to speak.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the way I wrote that. You delivered it very well. I truly appreciate that. And Michelle, thank you for giving my speech. Amen. Now let's eat. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here with all of you today. I truly am. And Todd, to respond to you, West Virginia is a gift to me. Let me just say that. I want everyone to understand this. I get asked, why did I return? And first of all, they asked me to. That is one reason. But the real reason is the fact that I've always had this love affair with this state, and I really have. And I think you always love the place the most that loved you first. And these are loving people. The people in this room, the people in this state, the 1.8 million West Virginians, are absolutely remarkable people. I tell the story about the fact that one of the shocks for me when I left West Virginia to move to the University of Colorado was the fact that Coloradans don't like Colorado. They love the skiing, they love the ambiance, they love riding, but they don't have any spiritual relationship with the state. They have no relationship. And as you know, West Virginians love West Virginia. If they find themselves in Singapore or Shanghai or Keokuk, Iowa, they love West Virginia. And I tell the story, and some of you have heard me tell the story, but it was so striking to me. 2 years ago, we played in a bowl game in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're at this magnificent hotel, and this woman rushes up to me and she says, "I'm from West Virginia." I said, "How wonderful." And I said, "How long have you been here?" She said, 19 years. I said, "What do you do?" "I run this hotel." And I thought, wow. And I said, "Well, you must love it here, all this warmth and all of this activity and a variety of other things that you've been doing, and what a special place it is." And without losing a beat, she said to me, "Find me a job in West Virginia." And I think that is very unusual. We started this process at the university that we call a return home policy. And we've gone out and identified some of the brightest and best people in this country who have West Virginia roots, either have lived here or they've spent time here or they've graduated from our universities. And we said, "Come home," and they do. Betty Chilton will talk about Clay Marsh. Clay Marsh is the head of our academic medical center and one of the great leaders in academic medicine in this country. Clay was with me at Ohio State, and when I returned here, I called him up and I said, "Clay, you need to come home." He was just going to be made the head of that institution over there. He couldn't get over here fast enough. His father was Don Marsh, who berated me every day in the Gazette, but I still hired his son. And but the point is the fact that, and we find so many of those. The head of OBGYN, a graduate of our university, was the head at Duke. We just brought in a bunch of surgeons, all of who have West Virginia ties, from the Cleveland Clinic, from Harvard, from a number of other places. I mean, it's a great place to be. And so I appreciate what you had to say, Michelle. And so I want you to know that the blessing is all mine to be here, and it's been a great gift to me. And I appreciate it every day. And my daughter, who grew up here, when she was 3, I became president of the university. And again, a story that I love to tell is the fact that I called her up and I said, "Rebecca, you know, they've asked me to stay on at West Virginia. What should I do?" And she said, "Go home, Dad." Because she's always thought about this as being her home. In fact, she always put, whenever she was traveling, of course, we had an unstable employment pattern, I did, and so she always thought of West Virginia as being her home. So I'm home, and we're going to make it a great place together. It's not my responsibility, it's not your responsibility, it's our responsibility. And greatness is in us. Greatness is in West Virginia. Greatness is in its people. And so we're going to make that happen. I must say that I get asked the question all the time. I just have to have a little sense of humor here for a second. I get asked the question all the time, what's it like running a big university? 33,000 students, 20,000 faculty and staff, all of whom are smarter than I am and let me know about it. But you can imagine on any given day, a couple of these things they're actually true. So about a week ago, I received this note. "Dear Dr. Gee, thank you so much for the flyers you sent on the occasion of my business expansion as a West Virginia University alumnus. I appreciate the thought. However, I must tell you that the card accompanying the flyer said, 'Rest in peace.' There must have been some mistake, and I wanted to bring it to your attention." So the crack team that I have, they just went hysterical. They were running around. How did this happen? And so finally I had to write back. This is to George from Wheeling. I said, "Dear George, oh my, this means that somewhere there's a funeral taking place today with flowers and a note saying, 'Congratulations on your new location.'" So so you got to have a sense of humor. This one I loved. I got this one during Christmas. This is from a parent from Beckley. "Dear President Gee, you delighted my son on move-in day by stopping by his room to welcome him personally to West Virginia University and to give him a cookie. After seeing him during Christmas, I just had to write to let you know how well he is integrating into West Virginia University life. He met a girl, made the dean's list, is writing for the student newspaper, joined the debate club, became a research assistant, took up polo, and is editor-in-chief of the new undergraduate research journal. Wow! We cannot believe that this is the same kid who refused to go to band camp in the 7th grade. Well, I thought about that for a minute, and so I sent back this note, a true note, by the way. "Dear Michelle, what a thrill that your son is making the most of his opportunities here. I'm also fairly certain that no one student could be that involved, and come to think of it, we do not even have a polo team at West Virginia University." you aren't making your tuition checks out to cash, are you? So and then this is the one that I enjoy the most. So we just had spring break at the university. You know, these kids had these great spring break, and our students do wonderful things. They do Habitat for Humanity. They go to Nicaragua. In fact, I'm going to meet with some of the students because they do health programs all around the world. But this is one that I thought was very funny. Dear President Gee, I'm planning a spring break trip with my best friend from the University of Cincinnati, and we have enlisted 6 female cheerleaders to join us for the whole week in sunny Miami. But when we went to book flights, you can imagine my disappointment to find out that our colleges have conflicting spring break schedules. I am writing to ask if you could push West Virginia University spring break back a week. You're the only one with the power to help make a 19-year-old man's dream come true of a half dozen girls in a remote beach house 1,200 miles away. But the thing that I really enjoyed was the next sentence. And of course, if you help out, you're more than welcome to join us. Had a wonderful time in Miami. So anyway, it's great to be here with all of you. And I'm going to speak for a few minutes, and I really want to take questions. But let me start out by saying that for more than 10 years, residents of tiny Printer, West Virginia, have lived without the most basic requirements for a healthy life, clean water. When the coal company that established Printer's water system left the area, it quickly, of course, fell into disrepair. West Virginia University student Morgan King, a civil and environmental engineering major from Charleston, learned about abandoned water systems in Printer and 12 other communities while she was interning with the Department of Health and Human Resources. She helped to bring our university's chapter of Engineers Without Borders to Boone County to help get clean water flowing again. So just one of hundreds, just one of thousands of stories. Much work lies ahead for these students and for Printer residents in order to be able to determine real change. But I use that story because for 150 years, you've had a great university in this state. We're celebrating 150th anniversary this year. 1867, West Virginia University has been linking people with the state-of-the-art knowledge to create solutions and improve lives. We are a land-grant institution. We are a land-grant institution, and by that I mean that we have a very special calling. We do not have a responsibility. We do not have a job. We have a calling, and that is to make life better for each and every one of our citizens. Abraham Lincoln established our university. He established our state, and then he created these land-grant institutions. He established, we are Mr. Lincoln's University, and we remember that and take that calling each and every day in a very special way. Yes, indeed, we're going to discover the cure for cancer. And yes, we're going to write the great American novel, but we're not going to send them off to New York or write about the place. We're going to make certain that our citizens of our state have access to those discoveries, and that every day we're curing and healing and inspiring. And that, I think, is the nature of a great land-grant institution, and that is what we're about here. So we have 3 goals: education, healthcare, and prosperity, and those are the pillars of our work. And it's not surprising, by the way, Michelle, those are absolutely the pillars of the Greater Kanawha Foundation. And for that, we are great partners. Education, health care, and prosperity are clearly the building blocks for West Virginia's future. And strengthening those, I will tell you this, has never been more important than it is right now. We are at a tipping point. This state is at an absolute tipping point. Economic shifts have triggered a $500 million budget shortfall that lawmakers are still wrestling with here in Charleston. Where some see a crisis, however, I see an opportunity to stack hands. Where some seek to slap Band-Aids on our economic wounds, I see the potential to heal them, and heal them once and for all. To do so, we must change our strategy from cut to invest. I'm going to say that again. We have to learn to have the power and belief that this is a state worthy of investment. We need to have our people believe that we believe in them. And investment is such an important component of where we are. We must enlarge our budget pie. You know, I am not in favor of taxation, but I am in favor of making certain that we have the ability to be able to invest in our communities and in our education systems. So we must enlarge our budget pie, not fight over the size of our pieces as it crumbles before us. The people work for and with the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation understand this better than most. We heard it. For more than a half century, the foundation has really made a difference in this community. And there's nothing, by the way, more powerful than a community foundation. You know, you can have the Ford Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation. They tell you what they want you to do. And if you don't do it, they don't give you money. A community foundation is about community. It's about building. It's about creating. It's about energy. And it's about opportunity. So I congratulate Dr. Foster and Charlie Loeb and everyone else who makes this foundation so successful. So like you, we are in a partnership with the people of this state and with every part of our community. We partner with the business community, including those involved in tourism, our state's second largest industry. I am privileged to serve. I'll just give you one example. We heard about the folks down on the gorge, which is fabulous. But a lot of people don't realize we have the summit here. The Boy Scouts of America, I serve on the, and I'm privileged to do so, I serve on the executive committee of the National Boy Scouts of America. The Boy Scouts of America have invested $500 million 13 minutes from Beckley. And they're going to invest another $500 million. And the reason they're doing it is they think that we are in the right time zone, in God's time zone, I will say that. We are in a beautiful spot in the world, and we have great people and great opportunities and fabulous ways for us to communicate with these young men and young women. And this year they will bring 40,000 Boy Scouts from all over the country and 5,000 volunteers, the majority of whom are CEOs of major companies. What a way to tell our story. 2 years from now, they will bring 40,000 young people from around the world, the International Boy Scout Jamboree, and they'll bring another 5,000 to 6,000 people who are CEOs of major corporations from around the world. Think about that. So how do we manage this gift? How do we make certain that we partner with the Boy Scouts? And we partner with each community, and we partner to make certain that we now create an opportunity for everyone to see that as a bright point of light. And by the way, what we need to do is we need to have everything West Virginia. I love the Flying WV. We're going to have everything that they're going to be so sick of seeing it, they'll just say, well, come again. Thank you very much. And by that, I mean that they built the summit because it is the finest outdoor recreation facility in the world, built by the same folks who built the Olympic venues, and they will be here every other year with at least 40,000 people and 5,000 CEOs. Every other year. And now we have an opportunity to tell our story. So we partner with West Virginia's struggling communities, such as Charleston's West Side, where we are pairing university resources with frontline intelligence from residents to capitalize on economic trends. We have to be thoughtful. We just can't come in and say, we're going to help. We have to come in and say, you're going to help. And we're going to help with each other. We partner with other educators. In fact, we partner with Marshall University. I know that that's hard for some people to believe, but we actually do. In fact, Dr. Marsh and his colleague at the medical school, they put together a significant amount of money to invest and jumpstart healthcare research and delivery projects across the state. We, as an institution, we as a state, none of us can do it alone. We have to do it together. We forge multifaceted partnerships with the energy. You know, we sit on top of one of the great energy resources in this world. And guess what we have done? We have exported coal, we've exported oil, we've exported gas, and we've exported talent. What a tragedy. We've got to start exporting, importing, having people take advantage of the opportunities that we have by having our people take advantage of those opportunities also. I tell everyone we're going to build a fence around West Virginia. We're going to keep all of our talent here, and I just visited with Governor Kasich and told him that Ohio's going to build the fence. How does that sound? In fact, we did visit with Governor Kasich. He has been my friend forever. I would just say this is not name dropping. He and I have been very close friends, and our new governor, Governor Justice, and I went to visit him because I believe that we had this unusual opportunity. We are a small state crowded in by behemoths. I mean, you've got Ohio with 11.6 million people. You've got Pennsylvania with 12 million people. You've got all these other states. We cannot win on the size of mass and people. We've got to win on partnering, and we have all the assets, and they don't. And so we have to create this notion of regional cooperation and regional collaboration. Now, not a lot of you know this, but you know the state is our campus. We are in every county and every community of the state because we have extension services, extension faculty, 4-H, which is one of the great programs, the largest youth program in this country was really started in West Virginia, and we lead in terms of having one of the great 4-H programs. It is part of our land-grant tradition. For example, in Clay County, which of course suffered greatly from the flood, more than 600 youth participated in STEM activities led by a chemical engineering student serving as an ambassador last summer. Think about that, 600 a student and opportunity. In all we do and all partnerships we form, we are enacting strategic visions to transform West Virginia. And make no mistake about it, I think massive change and transformation is necessary. I think about West Virginia this way. I think about it as being an elephant. We sort of are, you're kind of this way. We are an elephant. That means we're slow, we're ponderous, we don't want to change. We've got to become a ballerina. Not an elephant with a tutu, but we've got to become a ballerina. Or else we will become a dinosaur. We have no choice. The choice of doing nothing is no choice. The choice of change is our option, our opportunity. So think about this. Just think about a couple of things. Manufacturing employment has declined by about 1/3 since 1990, while state spending on public 2- and 4-year colleges is at its lowest point in a decade. I joke about this, and I probably shouldn't because some of my legislative colleagues will get a little irritated with me, but we have moved from being a state-supported institution to a state-located institution, and now, in some ways, we're state-harassed. But the point is the fact that we have to think differently about what we're doing. I'm going to give you something here that I think is the most powerful thing I'll probably say. Since 2008, the bottom of the recession, 11.8 million jobs were created in this country. Only 80,000 of those 11.8 million jobs required only a high school education or less. Now, what does that tell you? It says very simply that unless you go on and engage in some form of higher education or skills training, I was just with Charlie Jones. He was talking about driving those big barges. I mean, he said some of our people only have a high school education, but we have to train them until they can be able to achieve. We all have to have training. We all have to be able to have some educational experience. Otherwise, we will not be able to succeed. And only 80,000 people out of that 11.8 million were able to even find anything that would meet their requirements. Sad but true. So our building blocks for change, as I noted earlier, education, healthcare, and prosperity. And I'm going to spend just about 1 second on each of those. Education, critical. Unless we have an educated population, we will not be able to succeed. And we've tried everything. We spend more on education than most states, and our results are not what they should be. Not because people don't want to, not because our school teachers don't want to be successful, but because we have all these impediments that we put in front of them. One of the things that has been a real blessing with this legislature is the fact that they have tried to remove a number of these impediments. I talk about the elephant. Well, the bureaucracy is just killing us. We have in this state what I call a pre-audit mentality. We're going to spend $1 million to make certain you don't steal 10,000. Shameful. We need to spend $1 million on education and on health care and on arts and on collaboration. And if someone steals 10,000, we'll get rid of them. But we don't need to spend all this time auditing and pre-auditing and pre-auditing because that takes the that takes the sense of responsibility and it takes the risk out of anything. No one wants to take any risk. We've got to change that. So education is extremely important, and as I told you now, if my 11.8 million jobs are an example, this university in your state is what coal mines were to the state 50 years ago or 100 years ago. We are the economic engine, and let me just say this, we are the economic engine. We are the largest employer in the state. We create more jobs. We are the social and cultural engine of the state, and that is not because we are arrogant or isolated. It's because that is what we should be doing, but we need to make certain we're not doing it for the people in Morgantown or just for a few people who are isolated inside the university. We're doing it for everyone. Creating jobs, creating vitality, and creating activity. So education is important. The second thing, of course, is healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. If we do not have a healthy population, we will not have a healthy state. We have an overabundance of problems in terms of health care. We rank at the very bottom in terms of obesity. Opioid addictions are killing us. We had over 700 people die last year of opioid overdoses. My daughter, Rebecca, some of you remember her. She was wild when she was that tall, and she's still wild. Is the Secretary of Health for the state of Louisiana, and she and I had this bet about who can turn the arc of their state around the fastest, because Louisiana and West Virginia have raced to the bottom, and I'm going to let her continue that race because we're going to turn this around, and we have to. Consider some of the changes that we have to make. Our medical center is reaching out in all facets of the state. We have now some of our finest physicians at the university working in southern West Virginia and working closely with all the allied health programs. We've got to make certain that we have a healthy and well-positioned people in the state. Otherwise, we fail. And the final thing, of course, is prosperity. We have to create jobs. There are not many university presidents who would dare get up and say, our job is to create jobs. They say, our job is to discover something or do this or go to the moon. Our job is to create jobs. It's that simple. If we do not create jobs, as Michelle said, we are not going to be able to be successful. And how do we do it? We do it by creating new and interesting research and then taking that research and commercializing it. We do it by attracting business and industry here because we come up with new and creative ideas. We do it by investing in those ideas and those opportunities and creating them in a way that allows people to buy into this state and believe in it. That's how we create jobs. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do that. It is simply a way that we have to start thinking about this state. So where are we? We're a state with immense opportunities. We're a state that has to start believing in ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. One of the things that irritates me the most about West Virginia, and I am not a native, I am here by choice, not by birth. But what irritates me is this attitude that I hear all the time. You can't do that. We can't do that in West Virginia. As if we don't have high enough aspirations. So we tried something. I said, we're going to try an area in which we can do something better than almost anyone else. And that's in terms of healthcare. That's in terms of our academic medical center. And so we brought in Clay Marsh. We brought in new leadership. We made all sorts of investments. And guess what? The academic medical centers, of which there are 126 in this country, these are the medical schools in this country, we ranked 79th 3 years ago. Not good enough. But people said, that's good enough. We're West Virginia. Well, we changed. We did a lot of things. We then, 2 years ago, we moved to 36th. Last year, we moved to 18th. And the rankings just came out. And I don't believe in rankings unless we do really well. But we ranked 6th. 6th. Right right behind the Mayo Clinic. So never, ever, ever, ever let anyone say to you, we can't be the best. Because we can't, and if we believe it, we will be. If we don't believe it, we will be mediocre. Mediocrity is bred between the ears, not between people's actions. So we have to change the way that we think about ourselves. And if we do that, we have great joy in front of us because people love the state. We've got the best people on the face of the earth. I travel the state, 55 counties. I go to these counties every summer. I come away so blessed to meet people who care so deeply and who are so humble and who are so forthright about who they are and what they're about. That is a blessing. And so, my challenge to all of us is the fact that we all love being West Virginians. Everyone in this room loves being a West Virginian. What we have to do now is we have to have the courage to be West Virginians. Courage is the future. If we have the courage, then we're going to be successful. That simple. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to be here with you today. I am really gifted to be able to come and be part of this occasion, and I congratulate the foundation for all the work that it's doing. I congratulate all of you. So saying that, I have an opportunity to take a couple of questions. Does anyone have any questions? We got someone coming right up. Oh, okay, you're going to the mic. I was going to say, you look really smart. I don't want you asking me a question. There you go. Any questions that I can have people ask? I'd love to.
You took the Mountaineer marching band to McDowell County.
Bob Douglas just said, I took the Mountaineer marching band to McDowell County. Was one of the most spiritual events in my life. Let me tell you something. So here you have 400 young men and women. The Mountaineer Marching Band, the pride of West Virginia, is a John Philip Sousa marching band, which means that it is one of the best marching bands in America. And it was designated, by the way, as the lead band for the Macy's Day Parade last year, which means it is the best marching band in the country. They always choose that. And so I'm down in southern West Virginia on my first visit. I'm in McDowell County, and they're talking about all their problems, and I'm just getting ready to leave, and our young 4-H agent, Donald Reed, I say, is there anything else I can do for you? He said, bring your marching band to McDowell County. I thought, oh my heck, 10 buses, 400 kids, winding roads. But we did it. Went to Bradshaw. Everyone in that county showed up. And I've never seen so many tears and so much pride in my life. It will forever be emblazoned on my soul. And that is what the university should be about. Hope and inspiration, no doubt about it. Any other questions? Yes. Yes, sir.
I had to go to Beckley recently for work, and I was seeing the flying WV. How goes the progress of this?
So we just heard. We were just asked about our campus in Beckley. So this is it, Appalachia. I've started to learn a little bit about this. Parents in certain parts of the state don't want to send their children to Morgantown. They're be exposed to communists or something. I have no idea. But anyway, they have this nesting of belief that they need to have an education, but they want it to be close. And so we, unfortunately, had to close our campus in Montgomery and create this new campus in Beckley. It is going great guns. We are way ahead of our projections. We're going to have 1,500 young people there from the southern part of the state, and they're going to have a world-class education in a place that's close to home. That, in my view, and I don't want to overstate this, but I believe out of all the things that the university is doing is the most transformative in terms of the future of this state. One last question? Pardon? No, but I went to Miami. How does that sound, okay? Anyway, everyone have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Gee. Always inspiring and funny, of course. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. We really appreciate your presence here today. I know our Boone County affiliate, is Connie here? Just thank you, Connie. It's been a pleasure partnering with you. So thank you all for coming out. Please enjoy the refreshments in the back. Thank you.